Welcome to Fat Cat production of News with a View, hosted by me, John A. Costa. Today is June 17th, 2025, and this is episode 80. Dun, 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 dun. I've given over 100 hours of pure genius. My observations, my opinions. If you're just tuning into this show, I take the news from both sides, meaning from MSNBC all the way up to Fox News. And I look at what they report, just the facts. I don't copy what they do, but I look at the facts as they present a program or write an article. And it's the words after that that will convey the agenda. They can bend the wording to what they like. Fox will do it to the conservative side, and MSNBC will bend it to the progressive side. And that's how news works. I, on the other hand, inject common sense into it. And Bob from New York, if you're watching, and I spoke to Bob today, and Bob is not an uber liberal, but he's a liberal. Now he is an uber liberal. But he does believe in his causes, and he'll walk the walk. He talks it and walks it, and gotta give him credit for that. Nothing else. You get no other credit, Bob, with me. No, I'm only kidding. I love Bob. And today we were talking about USAID funding cut. And it just came up, and we were making jokes, and then we get serious. And he was saying to me that, 300,000 people have died since the cut. And I go, I've heard that number tossed around. I looked, and I can't get any confirmation of any number. And unsubstantiated reports say 300,000 people have died since the cut of $80 billion in giveaway funding from the United States. Not one organization or foundation has supplied factual data on these numbers. Many groups who are receiving funding say that estimates are such and such, but offer no proof. Just the groups who were raking in billions making such claims. So the flow of money stopped. Now they're belly aching. Now, I'm not saying that people were not helped with this. They certainly were. And we need to know who was really being helped and who was helping themselves. And this was on a pause, even though, like I said, if you look up pause and you look up stop in a thesaurus, they're almost the same thing. A pause is with the idea that it's temporary. A stop is we're stopping doing this. So I kind of get where the president was using these words. But we have a right to know where this money's going, and we should know where it's going. So, and if you try to Google this information, you don't get anything. You just get all bunch of colleges and university studies and these other people and other groups saying we've been, we're having 100,000 babies die every month. Where? Oh, in Africa. It's not 100,000 births in Africa a month for babies to die. So, I mean, you start getting the data and you go, pinpoint it. Tell me where in Africa. Tell me what. Tell me how. And you can't get that information. So, and again, yeah, I'm sorry. It stinks, but that's the way it is. So, I'm going to go to my favorite camera now. Let's go here. Yeah. For all you know, I have 3 cameras. I don't even use the third one. It's a beauty shot camera on them. I'm not cutting away the commercials. So, again, more stuff in the news. New York City mayoral candidate Brad Lander was arrested at an immigration court. And he is running for mayor, and he was going and meeting with people who are in immigration court being summoned to be deported or whatever they do there. And he was arrested while leaving the court. Supposedly arrested for assaulting a law enforcement officer and impeding a federal officer. Now, I haven't looked at this. I haven't looked at the video or anything to that extent. I did see something where there was an arm movement and stuff. My advice is to anyone, don't put your hands on law enforcement. Don't raise your hand to them. Don't try to stop them. If you're being detained, comply. You'll have your day in court. Easy for me to say. I'm not the one getting bracelets on me. I get it. I'm there with you. And I'm the first one to scream your Fifth Amendment rights, your Fourth Amendment rights. I'm sorry, I'm sneezing. I worked outside for about 45 minutes today. Got up to about 90-something degrees, and I had to stop. And what are you saying? And asking, what am I doing outside working? Well, cutting my bushes. Because I didn't feel like giving. And I think I paid the landscaper once to cut my bushes here. But to get it's a big yard, and there's lots of bushes and lots of things that need trimming and carting away. $600. Yeah, I can do a lot of drinking down here on $600. Just saying. Brad Lander arrested, and this was a breaking story when I was, not breaking story, but this was a breaking story when I was doing my notes. And I always do my notes. I always type them up. I know I should have done this in high school. I might have gotten a better grade. I knew I should have done stuff like this in TX, but I didn't. TX is CBS Transmission Center, where I was employed. But I did my job. We did it the old-fashioned way. We end it. So this is a breaking story, and I'd like to go back to the USAID. I mean, how many people out there really think that USAID was out there to help a lot of people, or it was a money scheme? I mean, we knew when it started back in the 60s that it was a means of funneling money into countries where we wanted to have a regime change, but we couldn't do it. So it was, when they talked about food, it meant guns. When they talked about medicine, it meant weaponry or artillery. I mean, but some money was used to help people. And again, I think we have to get down to the nitty gritty here, because $80 billion is what the price tag was on USAID. And probably even more. And there was absolutely no reconciliation of, did the funds get to where they should have gone to? Were they, the people we were giving this money to, were they legit? There was very little known. And this was for blue causes, and this was for red causes. This is not political in the sense of, those Democrats. A lot of Republicans voted for this stuff. And a lot of Republicans, I'm sure, if someone on the blue team was getting money, someone on the red team was getting money. And if that's the case, I want to know. And you should know. That's not what we're paying our taxes for. That's not what we're doing all this for. So I think that we have a right to know. And I don't think that's asking that much. And when they started seeing there's no management here on this stuff, yeah, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. You got to figure it out. So where Bob has said people are dying, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what the numbers are, and I'm sure some people are. But we have a right to know where our money's going to and how it's being spent and by who. And a lot of these NGO, and that stands for non-government organizations, were run by some of the people sitting in offices today. And when I say offices, I meant elected offices, or run by their families. And I'm not saying there's anything afoot with it. And, but did we know about it? Did people disclose this? Let's find out. Let's find out. I don't think that's asking the American taxpayers, Democratic taxpayers, Republican taxpayers, non-politically aligned people, taxpayers have a right to know what's going on with this money. When there's a question. Now, we say we do. We elect Congress, and Congress votes on this. So when people turn around, well, it is being looked at, these are the people. When we have a further investigation, we find out that no one is looking at it. Then there's a problem. There's a problem. And it's already been proven and shown that there is a problem. So let's not pretend that it didn't happen, and let's not pretend it didn't happen under Biden, that it didn't happen under Trump, it didn't happen under Bush or Clinton or Reagan. It happens. You have government money going out the door, you're going to have people figure out ways to get a piece of that. And if you look back through the history and presidents and stuff, even going back, there was questions on how much wine a president was buying. for government parties going back into the 1700s, folks. So this is nothing new, and I realize it, but we have a right to know. And again, with the Brad Lander being arrested, I think you'll see more of this with Democrats who think that this is a way for them to get on TV, to get some exposure, to believe they're doing something noble. Like I said, protest all you want. Protest in the street, on a sidewalk. Do what you are legally allowed to do. Free speech, no problem with it. Don't put your hands on law enforcement. You just can't do that. And in this day and age, you'll be arrested. In days before that, the police would box your ears off. And then arrest you. So, I think they're doing pretty good considering the fact that you're not getting your ears boxed off first. All right. The third thing today is military move ships, aircrafts to Middle East as Senator seeks to stop U.S. action against Iran. So we have a senator saying that before we take any action, before we do anything, Congress must approve it. And that's Senator Tim Kane. Now that's Kane. Kane added this to the War Powers Act of 1973. It's in my notes down here somewhere, and I gotta find it. Kane's resolution, he made a resolution on this, relies on the 1973 Wars Power Act that asserts Congress' authority to declare war, and a means for Congress to stop military action, let's say the president takes, to go, nope, it's got to stop. And Tim Kane said the American people have no interest in sending service members to fight another forever war in the Middle East. This resolution will ensure that if we decide to place our nation's men and women in uniform in harm's way, we will have a debate and vote on it in Congress. Well, kind of. When you join the military, and it's a voluntary military, you know at any moment in time the president may call upon you to put yourself in harm's way. Kane's resolution specifically would direct Trump to terminate the use of the United States Armed Forces for hostilities against the Islamic Republic of Iran or any part of its government military unless explicitly authorized by a declaration of war or specific action for a military force against Iran. You're not going to limit the president's... This won't pass. Just so you know. This will never make it. I understand what he's trying to do, and I'm not saying he is wrong in the approach, but there's already the Wars Power Act. We don't need another layer to it. Kane said the resolution also specifies that it's not meant to prevent the United States from defending itself from imminent attack. What is an imminent attack, Senator Kane? Define what's an imminent attack. How about you people? Anyone listening? What do you consider an imminent attack? Would you consider an imminent attack is a government that says we are for the destruction of the United States? We are for the destruction of Israel. We are the destruction of Jews. We are for the destruction of U.S. military bases. Would you consider that imminent? If they had the means to do it. I would say yes. I would say that you would have every right to take every precaution necessary. And if that person flinched in front of me, you're getting it. Because I don't know what that flinch means. All I know is that you said you were going to kill me. That was your wish, to kill me. Or to kill my people. Or to kill my nation. Or to kill my servicemen and women. So, you define imminent. And if imminent means, it means they have to sink one of our ships first. Or shoot a plane down. Or shoot a rocket at us. How about that? You don't wait for that? I'm not going to wait for that. I'm going to take these countries on their word. You want to destroy me? You're getting up there and telling me the people of America will pay the price? That's good enough for me. That's imminent. So, Tim Kaine, who also ran for vice president, if you remember that. A big F you. Because all this is to stop Trump. We have a Wars Power Act already on the books. This is meant to tie Trump's hands. And Trump gets to set, the president gets to set foreign policy. And the last I knew, Iran was a foreign nation. The president gets to set foreign policy. Now, he's not going to declare war. And he's already said, we're not getting directly involved. But in reality, Mr. Senator, the minute we intercepted with Great Britain, France, Italy, and everyone else over there who is an ally, intercepted missiles and drones and hardware being tossed at Israel, we were involved. So you are anti-protecting, you are against us protecting an ally. I want you to remember that, and I want you to remember that come 2026. All this rhetoric, all this stuff that you Democrats are doing are going to come back to you in TV commercials. Non-funding. You're not going to get money like you did with Harris and Biden. You're just not getting that type of money. You will get your dollars and $5 from college students. That you'll get. Maybe. A lot of those kids wised up. You didn't come through on your promises of, we're going to wipe your loans out. We're going to do this. They did. In some instances, they did. But you're paying for your education. The rhetoric, and Bob calls it from New York. Bob, I hope you're watching. It was a nice conversation. We had a nice hour and 10-minute talk. We haven't done that in a long, long time. It's not ranting and not going off the rails. It's just, I want facts. I demand facts, not this organization said and that organization said. They could say lots of things. The government can say lots of things. Trump can say lots of things. Biden said lots of things. I want to see the numbers. I want to see it. And if you cannot present it to me, then it's not factual. It's an estimate, it's a guess, it could be, maybe this could happen, maybe this. No, but that's not fact. That's not facts. And this is where I have my problem with a lot of the news. It is not fact. It's conjecture. It's sources that can't be named because they're not authorized to speak. Undisclosed sources reported. Where? I could be sitting in a bar and say something and they go, oh, that's good enough, right? It's very subjective. And when you take that, and that goes for all the news, that goes from Fox all the way down to, some of these other, these other news organizations, where you just can't trust what they're saying. You can't trust them. If they're not going to give facts or be able to prove what they say, got a major problem. Don't call it facts. Statistically, well, and even that, what are you using to come up with your statistics? What is your basis? And I know we go back to USAID, they've cut off life-saving, AIDS medication. Well, we did, other organizations didn't. They're still getting it. Other organizations are supplying food and medicine. We're still giving aid and comfort to a lot of people. So the rhetoric that comes from one political side against the other political side, it's got to be countered, and it's got to be addressed. It's just not the right thing to do. Just sit back and go, it's just more of that nonsense, because people believe it. People believe it. And then when you go, there is no proof. Martians are among us. Where? UFOs are real. Show it to me. Now, if you want to have faith that UFOs are real and there are Martians walking among us and aliens, well, go ahead. Just don't ask me more for money for it. And it's the same thing I say with, any religious organization. I didn't like the fact that a lot of these help organizations are run through the Catholic Church and then get funding through government agencies or non-government agency, NGOs. I'm not happy about that. If people want to give to a church or a synagogue or a mosque or a temple, and that money gets used however they see and deem fit, that's fine. You're giving your money to them, but people shouldn't be having their tax money used like that, given to a church, given to a temple, given to a mosque, given to whatever, under the guise of an NGO. They do a lot of good. I understand that. I understand that. But who's watching, who's minding the store? And we shouldn't be giving money to Planned Parenthood. We shouldn't be giving money to abortion clinics. We shouldn't be giving money to anti-abortion. We shouldn't be doing that. Not tax dollars. They want to set up a booth somewhere and collect money, and that money gets used for the manner what they're saying. Have at it. If you want to write a check and give it to them, have at it. And I say that. Give to a charity of your choice, but make sure it's a real charity. Don't be a victim helping a victim. Give to a food bank. But the government shouldn't be doing that. Now, the government can supply medical help for people, Medicaid, Medicare, EBT. All right. That's fine. But it shouldn't be going out further in some of these organizations where there's really not too much interrogation of what's going on. I'm not for that. And I don't think our tax dollars should be used towards that. Personally speaking, I don't think our tax dollars should go to anything overseas. And if we're going to give money, we give money to our citizens. And you don't like that? And you say, then you go to Congress and you go to people and you fight for them to do it. But we should have laws that say our money can't go overseas. Just can't do it. Can't do it. And that's what I would like to see done. That none of our money goes anywhere. And it sounds heartless and cruel and everything else. But, you know, the church can do it. Give to a church. Give to a temple. Give to a mosque. Give to a tribal council. Give to whoever you want to give your money to. But you have the say. And you could say, I'm not going to give my money to a church. I'm going to give it to a temple. And I'm not going to give my money to a temple. I'm going to give it to a mosque. That should be your choice. Someone somewhere else shouldn't be saying where your money gets splattered to around the world. It shouldn't be allowed. And then we have none of these problems. But if we want to fund a war somewhere, what do you think should be done there? How do you think that gets funded? How do you think those people are able to buy guns that their governments took away from them, so now we have to resupply them with guns? Do you see the irony in that? Think about it. Think about it for a minute. Bob. I love doing that to Bob. All right. We reported, and this is from Israel's claim, 1/3 of Iran's long-range missile launchers destroyed. Now, they don't have hardened silos. They don't have they have missile bunkers where these things are buried, and they drag them out, and they got to get them into locations to shoot. So they have missile launchers, mobile missile launchers that get dragged behind a tractor trailer. Without them, the missiles can't be launched. They need a pad, they need something to get them upright and to shoot. So 1/3 of their capability as now, according to Israel, has been stopped. And it takes time to move a missile, get it locked in place, and then configured for shooting. It's not in like in a missile silo where you see these things, and they're ready to go at a moment's notice. A mobile missile launcher needs 15 or 20 minutes of just being in place to get all its navigational data and in-flight navigational data ready to go. It's just that they can't just bring it out there, lift it up, and shoot it. It needs time to sit, know where it is, to navigate, to look at different projections that it can take, and then they can fire it. So it's not just an easy thing for them to do, and they just can't roll it out and drive it down a street. So they have to be hidden and moved and shuffled around, and that's not an easy thing to do. And the minute mostly now that Israel has air superiority, and I've said this before, you will win the war if you have air superiority. So you could have aircraft in the air 24/7 whose only job is to look for these guys rolling on the ground somewhere. And they only have to roll for a mile or 2 or 3, and their little hiding spot is discovered. And then they can follow it back, and that's where they're hiding the missiles, and Bang, 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 bang. Those missiles are no longer there, and that device that was used to do it is gone. There might be 3 more back there, but now they're down to 2. And maybe they got blown up, or no one's taking it out there to shoot it because they know the minute they peek out, there's going to be something hitting them. And this is what their IDF is trying to do, is to, they know they can't get all the rockets, they know they can't stop everything. But if they can limit their capabilities of loading and shooting, that hurts. And if you can start whittling that down in place without them having to shoot it, and you find these locations, it's a good thing. Israel today got the newest leader of the military. He was 4 days on the job, and they got him. You failed your job assessment. The Ayatollah has given authority to the military and has stepped aside and has given the country's control to the military. Interesting. And again, I don't know what that means as far as, will the military then turn around and go, we'll make a deal with Israel, or we'll make a deal with the United States, and you stay out of it. Because remember, community, you can make any deal, but it's got to go through me, and I have the final say, and we're not doing this. It's like almost dealing with Trump. But it's the same thing. So he stepped aside and now told the military, you're in charge. So if the military wants to now make a deal, but see again, and then what happens? Committee comes back and goes, nope, I'm back here. Hey baby, I'm back. No deal. And you wasted 3 weeks, and you gave them time to move stuff around and do things, or at least take a breath. Maybe now Russia steps in, maybe China steps in, maybe North Korea steps in, and you've lost your forward momentum. So I say, nope. That's good. You resigned, you took off, you're hiding. No problem. Open up all your military sites that have that we know, and that you have to show us the nuclear sites, and we know where every one of them are, and open them up to us and put our boots on the ground to look at it, or no deal. And that is, in essence, surrendering. So if you don't surrender, this will happen to you. And that's what we have to do. So that's what's going on. The big news today was that Kane has stepped down. He has stepped down. Kane has stepped down. And in that whole breath, and of course I think this was said a couple of days ago, but Lindsey Graham, who I'm not happy with, it's a great state of South Carolina. Lindsey, I think you're going to have some competition coming up. Urged President Trump on Thursday night to go all in support of Israel's war with Iran, telling Fox News host, it's time to close the chapter on the Ayatollah and his henchmen. Very nice. When was the last time we heard from Senator Graham? Graham said the U.S. should be willing to fly bunker-busting bombing missions over Iran if that's what needed to defeat them. Yeah, really? That's what you think? Be all in, President Trump, in helping Israel eliminate the nuclear threat. If we need to provide bombs to Israel, provide bombs. If we need to fly planes with Israel, do joint operations. That's from Senator Graham. Yeah, I don't buy into that, totally. I totally don't buy into that. If Iran were to attack our assets, our friends, which they have done, Israel, we don't have a reciprocal war powers protection. It's not like NATO or Article 5. We don't have that with Israel, and never will. And never will. But if Iran were to attack Saudi Arabia, or to attack Kuwait, or Oman, or any of these other nations, I think we would then intercede. And if they were foolish enough to attack a British or, which, I mean, honestly, the Hutus, proxies of Iran, have shot at our naval vessels, and that's an act of war. We should have not even had to think about it twice to go in there and level everything. I mean, Biden was just played the fool. Trump went in there, and the Hutus have been pretty quiet. They shot some things off, but they're not shooting at our ships no more, and they said, we're not going to do that. So we're going to shoot at Israel, right? And Israel went in there and destroyed a whole bunch of things. And now they're not getting any money from Iran. They're not getting any supplies from Iran. They're not getting anything. How long do you think that rhetoric will last in Hezbollah, when the paycheck stops? Because Iran was paying the military. How long do you think that's going to last? No more money, fellas. Party's over. But I don't agree with Lindsey Graham that we should fly a joint mission unless we're attacked. If we're attacked, and we use that pretext in Vietnam, the Gulf of Tonkin incident. You got to be careful. We have to be careful. And if you don't remember history, you really got to bone up and look to see how things happened. The fighting in Cuba in the 1900s, and late, you supply the pictures, I'll supply the war. Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders. I'm trying to remember the name of the ship that blew up, and they said, remember the, was it, yeah, not Leal, but it was the same type of, remember, and I had it. Getting old, Johnny boy, getting old. And that was a big spark to get involved. So this has always happened. The sinking of the Lusitania, was it by accident? Was it on purpose? Was it, I mean, that glued us into a war, World War I, that made it happen. Pearl Harbor. And again, this is what happened. We had negotiators from Japan. We'll negotiate with you. And while they did that, they attacked us. So there are people that can't be trusted. Situations that must be looked at beyond negotiation. So this could be one of them. We must step gingerly, but step decisively. All right, with that, I'm going to say good night. I'm going to try to get this out about 11 p.m. tonight. It is 5:30 right now, but it's Tuesday night, poker night. Some things are important to me. That's one of them. So I'm going to go play poker. And I'll edit this up, and I'll have it out the door this evening. Last night, I think I got it out the door at about 12:30 at night. I made a boo-boo and had to fix things, and it took longer. I make boo-boos. So there'll be a lot of editorial comments made in this. As the night goes on and I get more information, I can update on a text. I do not update audio. I'm just not going to do audio sweetening and editing. Sorry, not doing it. And remember, give to a charity of your choice. Don't be a victim helping a victim, my favorite line. Give to a food bank. Like I said, 500 people gave 4 cans a week to a food bank locally. What a wonderful thing. And if more people did it, and you got your neighbors to do it, and you got your association to do it, just 4 cans a week. SpaghettiOs. Corn. Those little Vienna sausages, something that they can mix in with pasta. And you help people. And that's really helping people. Wouldn't that be a great thing? So we do it. We give. My family gives. Because by the grace of God, go I. All right. Danielle, Paul, Chris, Rowan, Cannoli. Hopefully I'll get my other 2 grandchildren to watch my program. This will be Grandpa and great-grandpa's legacy. So there you go. This was your crazy grandfather. This was your crazy great-grandfather. This is, so when their kids start going, I should have a show. I should tell people what to do. There you go. Now you know where they get it from. All right, with that, I am going to fade to black because I got to go. Have a good one, all. I probably will be on tomorrow. All right, take care. Bye.